Hello everyone, welcome back for another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about Cartethyia. I have never posted a wuwa video except for the closed beta, I think, on this channel. I initially made another channel for Withering Waves, but I was thinking, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to post all the gacha games that I play, all the stuff that I want to make on this channel. So expect to see a bit more wuwa, a bit more ZZ, maybe not that much HSR, but yeah, still as much Genshin. But I'll try to share a bit more ZZ and Withering Waves on this channel. So maybe I'll make an update video, separate update video to talk a bit more about that. But yeah, in today's video, we're going to talk about Cartethyia. I just pulled her, I got her weapon, I got her best team. And basically, we're going to talk about if you absolutely need Ciaccona for Cartethyia to work. What other teams you can use. I'll go over her build real quick and what weapon you can use and stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically it. I'll tell you everything you need to know. I will do some showcase with different teams. And as usual, if you enjoy this guide, if you find it helpful, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and hope you enjoy the video. The cool thing about Cartethyia is that she can change into two different forms. So you got the small Cartethyia here, and then you got the big one once you use your liberation. Really big. I mean, basically as big as the Echo, or I mean as the boss. She's basically 3 Carlotta's size. And here your combos are a little bit different once you're in the big Cartethyia and once you're in Fleurdelys. You can stay in Fleurdelys indefinitely, which is really nice. You got some airborne combos here as well that are really cool. And as long as you don't use your liberation, you will stay in Fleurdelys forever, alright? So you can stay like that forever. You cannot apply Aero Erosion when you're in Fleurdelys stance, where with Cartethyia stance you can apply some Aero Erosion. That's why she's really reliant on other characters to apply Aero Erosion. And once you have your full energy here after you use all your abilities a few times, you use your liberation. Massive sword. And it goes on the other side of the universe. You can see the trace here. In terms of gameplay, so basically you can see her forte here. So she doesn't have really the same forte as other characters where when you use some abilities or stuff, you get like stacks and stuff like that. The way Cartethyia works is that she has 3 different swords, and you have to spawn these swords. So for example here, if I use my skill, I'm spawning 1 sword. You can see the sword on the ground as well that appear real quick. If you do a charge attack, it will also spawn a sword right there. I guess the other one fell, but you can only have 1 sword on the ground at the same time. So we got another sword here, and then the last one is when you do your full normal attack combo here, boom, you get another sword. Oh, I guess you got 2 here. So basically, as I explained, the full basic attack combo will spawn 1 sword of divinity. The heavy attack will spawn a sword of discord, and the skill will spawn a sword of virtue. And each sword has a different buff. So the sword of virtue here, so the sword of virtue will give you the heart of virtue buff. When Fleurdelys has heart of virtue in manifest, which is her Fleurdelys stance, it will make that her basic attack will generate a force field that stagnates the target and give her resistance to interruption. When you absorb the mandate, the sword of divinity, it will give you the mandate of divinity, which will increase your Aero Erosion damage by 50%. Keep in mind that all Fleurdelys Cartethia's damage is considered Aero Erosion damage. And finally, the Sword of Discord will give you the power of Discord, which makes it so it will raise the maximum stacks of Aero Erosion, I mean the stacks of Aero Erosion on the enemy to the maximum amount possible among all the targets. So if you hit like 5 different enemies and one of them has 5 stacks, for example, it will give 5 stacks to everyone. And it's really important to keep those stacks high because, as we can see on her liberation, each stacks of Aero Erosion on her liberation, you can't see here, let me go here real quick, will give you 20% damage increase on the liberation up to 5 stacks, so you can get up to 100% damage bonus. And her main inherent skill gives her up to 60% if you play with Aero Rover, that can increase the max stack to 6. So Aero Rover is really crucial with Cartethyia in general to maximize those buffs. It's not necessary, like you still have very good damage with only 3 stacks, which is the current maximum. But if you don't play with Aero Rover, then you at least need Ciaccona. And if you don't have Ciaccona, then you absolutely need Iroh Rover. Also, there are some synergy between Iroh Rover and Cartethyia that you shouldn't undervalue and that are pretty important. So I would always try to keep them together, honestly. And this is basically it. Basically, you really want to have those 3 swords absorbed before you use your liberation. And also have as many stacks of Iroh Erosion as possible before you do your liberation to absolutely maximize your DPS with Cartethyia. So as you can see, the outro skill of Iroh Rover makes it so it gives a buff to your team for 30 seconds, where if you apply Iroh Erosion, you can go up 3 extra stacks. So the maximum at the moment is 3, and with this buff, you can go up to 6. So you give that buff for 30 seconds, so it's more than enough time to have it on Fleurdelys and Cartethyia and Ciaccona. It's really important for Ciaccona mainly because she's the one who's going to apply the most Iroh Erosion stacks. Fleurdelys doesn't apply that much Iroh Erosion. She applies a little bit with, I think, yeah, Early Liberation. And then maybe her skill, I think, inflicts 2 stacks as well. But that's not enough to like keep the stacks infinite to 3 and maximize your buff. So Ciaccona is going to be pretty important in this case. But we'll see, there are other solutions. And I'll go over this a bit later. Now, in terms of echoes for Cartethyia, the new set is the best. Windward Pilgrimage gives you some Iroh damage, gives you some crit rate, some extra Iroh damage. Really, really good. You will need to farm a little bit because it's all new echoes. So you need to add them to your data bank and stuff like that. And one thing also that I didn't mention is that Cartethyia scales with HP. So your substats and potentially your main stats, as I'm going to explain in 2 seconds, are going to be HP if you can. Of course, you want crit. If you get some energy, it's kind of nice. I have 120 right now, and it's pretty good, so you don't need that much energy. It's perfect at 120. The thing with Cartethyia is that she gets so much damage bonus from everywhere, especially if you have Ciaccona. Ciaccona gives you 100% Iroh Erosion. If you have her weapon, another 10% Iroh Res Shred. On her talent here, she gives another 24 somewhere. I don't know where it is. 24 Iroh damage bonus here. So tons of damage bonus. If you have her weapon, which I highly recommend because there's not a lot of weapons that are good for her. The weapon also gives you a lot of extra damage bonus. She gains a lot of damage bonus from her passive, from her liberation, etc. So she doesn't need that much Iroh damage main stat because she has so much Iroh, damage bonus from everywhere. So for her specifically, you will want to stack as much HP and to still have a good crit ratio, get double crit here. So usually what's recommended on her is going to be crit main stat, 2 4 cost with crit main stat, and 3 1 cost with HP main stat. And then, as I said in the substat, crit HP. If you get some attack, basic attack, liberation, stuff like that, it's also pretty good. But HP double crit is already very, very good if you get that on all your pieces. And on the main echo, you will use that sword. The Fleurdelys sword gives you 20% Iroh damage bonus, basically. So it's really, really good. The other one is the new Kelpie, but this one gives you Glacio and Iroh, so not really that great. That's kind of shit, actually, unless we get like maybe we'll get a Resonator that use Glacio and Iroh. That would be fun. And then here, yeah, 1 cost HP main stat. It's going to be tough to get all these 1 costs with good stats. As you can see, mine are absolute trash. I'm missing so much crit. I'm missing 6 crit rolls. My Cartethia's ratio is kind of trash, but she's still performing okay. For the weapon, her signature is going to be the best option, but if you don't have it, basically, it's just the standard. Just go with the standard. It's much worse, like around 20-25% worse, but it's basically the only option. There's really no other option. There's a 3-star weapon with HP that you can craft, I think, but it's kind of shit. So I would just go with the standard if you don't get her weapon. If you're able to get her weapon, though, it's kind of cool. It's really, really strong, and the difference between everything else is really, really massive. Now, in terms of talents, as usual, like in wuwa, I highly recommend maxing out almost everything as much as you can. But if you really need to prioritize, the Forte, the Liberation, and the basic attacks are the 3 ones that you need to prioritize. The skill is not too important, doesn't deal a ton of damage. The intro skill, not really too important either. But as usual, like at least bring them to 6 or 8 if you're able to. And you can triple 10, Forte, Liberation, normal attack. And she's going to be perfect like that. Now regarding the teams, as I said earlier, like having Ciaccona is kind of insane for Cartethyia. You will feel the difference like pretty well. It's kind of similar to Phoebe with Zanny, but I feel like it's a bit easier to play Zanny with Spectral Rover and without Phoebe than Cartethyia with without Ciaccona and with Iroh Rover. You really need to, it's kind of hard to like maximize your DPS. You need a very good build on your Iroh Rover and on your Cartethyia to not feel that much difference eventually. At the moment, my Cartethyia build is not good. My Rover build is not insane either. Like my talents are kind of low. My crit ratio is not crazy. So I'm not getting like a ton of damage out of my Rover. If everything is maxed, the difference is not that crazy. On most runs that I've seen, and even on my run, it's like 30 seconds difference between this team and let's say I remove Ciaccona and I put Shorekeeper or Phoebe. But the more you invest in your Rover and the better your Cartethyia build is going to be, the less difference you will feel. So it's really comfortable with Ciaccona. Same as Zanny and Phoebe. It's really comfortable with Phoebe. But Ciaccona is not absolutely mandatory. It's just that it's not going to feel as great. But if you like quick swapping, or if you like a little bit harder to play teams and less smooth rotations, it's still going to be fine. So if you don't have Ciaccona, you can definitely use Shorekeeper. You can definitely use Phoebe as well. Phoebe is going to apply some Spectral Frazzle, and Rover is going to transform it into Iroh Erosion, so that works pretty well as well. And that's basically it. Of course, you can do Verina instead of that as well. Finally, you can also do Sanhua. You don't necessarily have to have another healer. You can do Sanhua. You can do dual DPS. Where's my Sanhua? You can do Sanhua here. You can do potentially Chengli or Carlota for some quick swap and stuff like that. But yeah, I think best free-to-play team is either Shorekeeper Rover if you don't have Ciaccona, or either Sanhua or Verina, basically. And finally, if you have Phoebe, it's also pretty good. Sanhua Rover is also a very good option, honestly, because a lot of damage from Cartethyia is going to be considered basic attack damage. So Sanhua's outro buff that gives 38% basic attack damage bonus is going to be very nice for Cartethyia. And you still get the Iroh erosion buff from Rover and stuff. So this team is also pretty good, and I'll show a rotation, a run afterwards of this team. Regarding Rover's build with Cartethyia, so you have a few options, but they're not really any really good option. Gusts of Welkin doesn't work on Rover because you have to inflict Iroh erosion, which Rover does not. Moonlit doesn't work really well because it gives attack. If you play with Ciaccona, it's fine. You can use it to buff your Ciaccona. But if you don't play with Ciaccona, if you play with Shorekeeper, honestly, it's kind of useless. Same for the healing set. The healing set gives attack, so it's not really that useful in general. I mean, you can use it if you play with Ciaccona once again, but if you play with another healer, it's kind of useless. Can buff Verina, I guess. But other than that, basically the only good option after that is the same set as Cartethyia, so Windward Pilgrimage, because if you hit a target that has Iroh Erosion, it will give you some damage, so it's pretty good for your Rover, and you basically just go full attack, some Iroh damage if you want to, and then you build DPS. You build DPS with either the new set or Moonlit, I would say in general, especially if you play with Ciaccona. As I explained earlier, I will show the rotation probably on the screen somewhere, just so you have it in mind at some point, or maybe I'll just black screen with the full rotation now, and then screenshot it or something, or save it, and then we start the rotation. Alright, so I use my Echo at the start. I use my Echo with Ciaccona as well. I can start applying some stuff. Rover, I usually do the Liberation. It's not necessarily the best, but and then here we get the skill, boom. We get the charge attack liberation. And then we can go on Cartethyia, intro sword, full normal attack combo sword, skill sword, absorb, and liberation. And then now, basically, once you're in your Fleurdelys state, you just do like you just unga bunga, honestly. And then skill liberation. We have 6 stacks on the enemy. And you can go back here. Honestly, you can go back on Ciaccona, do more Ciaccona stuff. Go back on Rover. Skill. It's basically dead in 1 minute. Boom. And then we do that. And that's basically it, I think. Alright, 1 minute clear approximately. My stats are pretty bad, but yeah, 1 minute and 5. Considering my shit stats, like it's basically a Ciaccona DPS showcase, honestly, because like the only really well-built character is Ciaccona here.
Such is their blessing. Loading. I am the toughest.
And we basically stack Concerto with Rover again. We get the Concerto with Shorekeeper as well. Boom. And then full attack combo with Cartethyia, skill, absorb, and liberation. We currently have 3 stacks.
From the soul, the impure.
I don't know how.
Iron graft you need. Wind calls, waves follow, waves rise, judgment strikes. Wind rises. The wicked will face air judgment. True form.
We have 5 stacks here, and then
Salvation. Torrents rage on. Charge forth with me. Ruin is furious tides. Split the heavens. Ordained. Loading.
so it's like, yeah, it's like 30 seconds slower, I would say, like.
Wind calls, waves follow. Wind howls, unfettered by battle.
Or maybe actually a bit more than 30 seconds, but should be fine, I guess.
Will face trumpet.
Here I do 1 more rotation.
Destroy. Such is that repent.
Yeah, 120 energy, slightly low, honestly. If you can get a bit more, I guess it's better. Here we got 5 stacks.
Chaos purified. Sounding the death.
And
Face your
and it's dead.
Sweep all the way. Leave it to me.
Oh, I didn't get the... Ooh. Oh, I was a little bit slow with my rotation here, but it is what it is. So it works. It's fine. Considering my builds are really shit. This time I don't have Ciaccona that deals damage. My Rover is pretty bad build. My Cartethyia is pretty bad build. So I basically have almost no damage. We still managed to clear in 145. So it's not too bad. I will see much better performance once everything is maxed out, of course. The Phoebe team, actually, I'll show you how good it goes. So basically, you use the same stance as you use with Dani for this one, because you want to apply all the stacks with Phoebe, same as with Dani, and then your Rover is basically gonna transform the stacks with her skill. When you use a Rover skill in the sky, it will basically transform the Spectral Fragile stacks in Aero Erosion, and then here, as you can see, I have 6 stacks on the enemy, so this is pretty nice.
Opponent.
And as you can see, it's working pretty well.
Tide, rise and crash. Ruin my lane. Purge all evil. Sentinel protect.
And then we repeat that rotation, and honestly, that team is pretty nice. I like that team.
Together we stand.
And then
Waves follow.
6 stacks of Aero Erosion here. We got that. We got this. Okay.
Perish. Such is that blessing.
And that's a pretty good clear, honestly.
Wicked souls, repent.
I'd say that's a pretty good clear. Honestly, Phoebe Rover, pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like the team personally.
Sounding the death knell. Till the windstorm.
And then here we have 4 stacks, which is pretty solid, honestly.
Sentinel protect me.
And then yeah, 1 minute 30 clear, not bad.
Together we stand.
Honestly, not bad. A little bit less, maybe. I mean, a little bit longer than that.
Wind calls. Waves follow. Huh? The wicked. I
Did I get the?
am the toughest.
Oh, I'm a little bit slow here.
The wicked crumble. Will be such is that blessing. Purge the impure. Oceans.
Oh, a little slow, but it's okay. Yeah, no, that was okay. That was okay. 130, something like that. So yeah, Phoebe, Cartethyia, Rover. That works. That works. And then finally, we can test with Sanhua, I guess. I haven't tested Sanhua yet, but... So here, once again, we'll get way less buffs than with Shorekeeper. We'll get way less stacks than with Phoebe and Ciaccona, so... Let's see how it goes, but...
Frozen blockade. Waves rise. Judgment strikes. Wind rises. Upchain. Wind call.
Okay, we can do that. We got the parry here.
Annihilation.
Oh my god, the problem also with the enemies that move so much... Yeah, it's like really annoying when the enemies move so much.
Such is that true.
It's like... It's hard to keep up. Especially with the Aero Rover abilities.
Sounding the death knell.
And then we got 3 stacks here. Okay, we got 3 stacks. It's not too bad.
Sweep all the way.
Stay behind. Lotus pervade.
The buff from S6 Sanhua is also quite nice, actually. So
Wind howls.
the buff from S6 Sanhua is quite nice. We get decent damage with this.
Hopefully this helps. Crumble. Will be such as that blessing. Repent.
Okay,
For silence beckons.
we got the parry here.
Vexing malice. Tide. Rise and crash.
Well, actually, kind of a good clear. I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy with that.
Stay behind me. Shackles be gone. Engrave.
Tempest of flashes. Wind perception. Waves rise. Judgment strikes.
Okay.
Collapse. Such is that blessing.
It's not like the best clear, but
Oceans.
it's kind of nice.
Bow before me.
Exonerate.
Vexing malice. Salvation. Furious tides. Split the heavens.
Stay behind. Frozen
Basically, a little bit slower than with Phoebe.
Wind calls. Waves follow. Wind howls.
A little bit slower than with Phoebe.
The wicked will face judgment. Perish.
I mean, much slower, actually.
True.
Alright, we still clear. We still clear.
At last.
Remember, like, I can only go faster. I can only go faster from now because, like, everything is, like, super low investment. On, I mean, my Cartethia's talents are max, but my Rover is pretty shit.
Such is that blessing. Hopefully this helps.
Wind rises. The wicked will be. Stay behind. Lotus pervade. Cycle of a crumble. Change of perception.
Be gone, wicked souls. Oceans, bow before me. Charge forth with me. Exonerate. Vexing malice. Sounding the death knell. Windstorm. Sweep all the way.
Wind calls. Waves follow.
The wicked.
Hopefully. I am the tempest. Stay behind. Like frigid death. Cycle of corruption.
Perish. Such is their blessing. Repent. For silence beckons. Face your destruction. Tide, rise and crash. Vexing malice. Furious tides. Split the heavens.
Wind calls. Waves follow.
Tempest of slackness.
Good.
The wicked will face judgment.
Waves rise.
Judgment snap.
Stay behind. Lotus pervade.
Collapse.
Change of perception.
Such is their blessing. Be gone, wicked souls. True form. Revealed at last. Ruin is imminent. Sounding the death knell.
Oh.
Salvation. My blade.
Okay.
Purge all evil.
Wind calls. Waves fall. Like frigid death. Engrave.
Okay, 1 minute 30 with all right, not bad, not bad. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And finally, if you really don't want to play Iron Rover for whatever reason, Shorekeeper Sanhua is honestly pretty good. You don't get that much air erosion, but as I said earlier, you can swap back to Cartethyia while you're in your Fleurdelys stance to reapply some air erosion, and then try to at least get 3 stacks to max out your liberation damage. All right.
Such is their blessing. Astral modulation.
So classic Shorekeeper,
Blockade.
classic Sanhua. Boom.
Stay behind me.
Collapse. Be gone, wicked souls. Oceans.
And here we got 3 stacks of air erosion. So every time we do a full attack, we lose some stacks.
Sounding charge. Windstorm. Sweep all the way.
And I think we had the stacks. Yeah, I think we had triple stacks here. I'm pretty sure. And as you can see, like this is really good.
War with tongue.
This is really good.
Shackles be gone.
Loading.
Stay behind me.
This is like really good, actually. The cooldowns also are perfect.
True form.
The skill cooldown on Cartethyia basically lines up perfectly with this. So it's kind of nice.
Torrents. Rage on. Tide. Rise
And then we reapply here, and then oh my god, I swept back. My bad.
furious tides.
So you can definitely reapply your Cartethyia stacks in between your Fleurdelys rotation. It's gonna make it a bit slower, but as you can see, it was even faster than Rover Sanhua, honestly. So not that bad.
Frozen blockade.
Oh my god, Sanhua is really broken, huh?
Be gone, wicked souls. Repent.
I think Sanhua is just the best character in Withering Waves, honestly.
The death knell.
It's kind of disgusting.
Till the denouement.
So as you can see, like still really good character, even without Iron Rover, even without Ciaccona. Just need the investment, of course. Like always, priority on your characters, level up the talents, And as you can see, my echoes are not that great, and I still managed to clear like really fast with
I should try to
Sanhua
smile
F2P
more,
weapon and with Shorekeeper. So you can definitely make her work without IRO Rover, without Ciaccona. She's a great character. I'd say she's on Zanny level, honestly. I'd say she's on Zanny level. I don't think she's as strong as like Carlotta, for example, in most situations at least. And she's probably like the other DPSs are probably like around the same strength overall. So she's a really good character. And yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any more questions. Feel free to join the Discord if you need help with Spirobis in Genshin, with Tower and Whimpering Waste in wuwa. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.
Thanks for watching.